What's up guys, this is Yasin. So we just got some new Dark Magician support in a way. I mean, it's kind of like generic support for anything that utilizes cards that are related to Dark Magician, which includes Magician Souls, which is generically abusable. So in other words, everyone can abuse the new support. But I want to say out of all these decks out there, the best deck to be able to utilize the new fusion monster, Dark Magician of Destruction, is the Yugi Dark Magician deck, which is... I mean, it's never really been a deck up until today, kind of. I mean, it kind of was, but it wasn't too great. And now it honestly is amazing. So Shining Sarcophagus, so, you know, the deck that Yugi played, as well as the actual Dark Magician deck itself, kind of, in a way. It's going to be very confusing, but it's going to make a lot of sense when you're going to see the combos. And this deck is actually really clean. Like, honestly, I actually think this might be a competitive threat when we're going to be getting it, because it's super consistent. It can even play a lot of hand traps. And it's actually kind of good into most hand traps, I want to say. It doesn't really lose to Nibiru, for example. And it doesn't really lose to, like, board breakers either, because it can make Omni Negates. Honestly, just overall, everything about this deck is really nice. A huge fan of it. Anyways, before we go any further, you already know the drill. Smash the like and subscribe button. And also check out my Blue Eyes and Crystron spreadsheet on my website, yacineygo.com. Very first link at the top of the description box below. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so combo number 1, I have Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, as well as a Shining Sarcophagus. And this card, by the way, it's one of the only cards in the game that is like a continuous spell that doesn't lose to Ogre when you activate its effect, simply because it cannot be destroyed by monster effects. How convenient. So yeah, it feels really nice to not lose to a hand trap for no reason. But anyways, you're going to be special summoning your Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. Oh my, what is this name? I'm just going to call it the Yugi Dark Magician, because you control Shining Sarcophagus. And it doesn't do anything like on the field. It's just like when it dies, it summons itself back. And then it sets a spell or trap that mentions Dark Magician from your deck if you control a level 5 or higher monster. Otherwise, none of that happens. But yeah, you're going to be searching Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction, off of Shining Sarcophagus. And we're going to be special summoning it. And then we're going to be paying half our life points in order to destroy every other card on the field. And then banish them. I think it destroys and then banishes. Yes, exactly. And then you can special summon a level 7, or I mean, you have to special summon a level 7 or lower monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck. And it gains levels equal to the number of destroyed cards. So it's going to gain 1 level. And the Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, is now going to be level 8. And we're also going to be reviving back the other one. And then set the Gaze of Timaeus. Because yes, it is a card that mentions Dark Magician. So far we have conducted exactly 4 summons. Which means that summon number 5 is going to be Photon Lord. And we are free to negate Nibiru now. So everything that we do is just like safe from hand trap. I mean, safe from Nibiru. But anyways, we're going to be contact fusing into Dark Magician of Destruction, because we have used the spell card this turn. And we're using a level 6 or higher Dark Spellcaster as the material. And it's going to be searching for any card that mentions Dark Magician, which is actually kind of broken. Which is going to be Magician's Rod. And then we're going to be searching Soul Servant, which is going to be stacking the Eye of Timaeus. I think that's the name. No, hold on a second. Timaeus, the United Dragon. There we go. Not even close to being the Eye of Timaeus. I'm kind of on crack. Anyways, send that Magician's Rod and then effect in order to fuse for Dragoon. And then on the opponent's turn, this is going to be super interesting, because obviously we have Dragoon to negate something. We have Photon Lord. But we have a third interruption, and I think most people will not really see this coming. So you can summon Master of Chaos off of the Gaze of Timaeus, and then go Chainlink 1 Magician's Rod in order to tribute that Dragoon to recycle itself back to the hand, and also Chainlink 2 Master of Chaos to revive back the Dragoon, so that this non-hard once per turn, it's rather a soft once per turn Omni Negate, is going to be live again. And we also have the card to discard in hand. So it's not like you need a lot of cards to be able to do this, since you're also replenishing your hand. So yeah, it's 2 Omni Negates off of Dragoon, as well as 1 Monster Negate from Photon Lord. And you also have follow-up with Shining Sarcophagus, able to like search for stuff for next turn, which is fantastic. That's it for the very simple combo number 1. Let's get into combo number 2 now. So this one, I'm actually kind of going to fast forward a little bit, just because it's a 1-card combo, so it's obviously a little simple, but it also utilizes the Fiendsmith engine. So if you're not interested, then you also don't really have to care. But combo number 3 is not going to be with the Fiendsmith engine, so obviously that's always a big plus for people that are kind of fed up with that engine. And honestly, I completely understand you. But yeah, we're obviously doing regular things right now. It's not like anything spicy. It's just that we searched the Gaze of Timaeus with Dark Magician of Destruction. We had 2 monsters on the field. We make Moon and then Caesar, so that's 4 disruptions, because it's the 3 from the Fiendsmith engine, as well as the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. All of that off of Gadget Trio. And also it gets us a card in the hand to discard for Dragoon. So yeah, it literally got covered in 30 seconds. There's no reason for me to milk that one any longer. Alright, so for combo number 3, I'm basically just drawing a random hand and playing it out, and it's actually a pretty good one. So I have Call by the Grave, Shining Sarcophagus with Izuna, Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction, which is great to draw when you have Engine, as well as Illusion of Chaos. By the way, there's a lot of like dead cards that if you draw them, it's not the end of the world, because you can just use Illusion of Chaos, search something, and then just place them back on the top of your deck, and then you activate a search card, you shuffle your deck, so you're not going to draw them next turn. But you activate Shining Sarcophagus, and then use its effect so that you can search the Dark Magician Yugi monster, and then summon that, summon your Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction, and then we're going to be using its effect, so summon Gadget Trio, or whatever, and this is where it gets really interesting. So Chainlink 1, Dark Magician, the Magician, blah blah blah, and then Chainlink 2, Gadget Trio, in order to search for a card that mentions Shining Sarcophagus, so it's going to be Future Silence. Well, I mean, it has to either be Shining Sarcophagus or a spell or trap card that mentions it. We're going to now be using the Dark Magician to make Dark Magician of Destruction, and that is going to be searching for the Soul Servant, which we're going to be using right away to search the Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, and then use, well, I mean, we're using the Future Silence to do that, and then we're going to be using Magician's Soul Illusion Chaos to search Magician's Rod, which is going to be the discard fodder for Dark Magician Girl, because this card is better in the grave than it is, like, in the hand, because we already normal summoned, or rather, we didn't, but we want to use our normal summon for something else. So yeah, special summon that, and then search your deck for Shining Sarcophagus, and then use your Soul Servant to stack for Magician Souls, draw 2 cards, and then overlay for Photon Lord. We're drawing 2 cards because we have Dark Magician Girl on the field, and we had Dark Magician before, but if we made the Photon Lord first, then we're only drawing 1 card, because then we're not going to have Dark Magician. So this is like for maximum card advantage. At this point, we're going to be summoning the Magician Soul, send the 2 Shining Sarcophagus because it's easy to get like another one in the future. Draw 2 cards, make an IP Masquerena, normal summon Izuna because the opponent has 2 or more cards in hand, and then effect ascend the Lupus, and then overlay for the Ripper. And Ripper is going to be searching another Izuna. This is literally an unbreakable board regardless of what you do, because IP into SP with Ripper, Photon Lord, this is already 4 disruptions, and then Izuna into Lupus to make like a Nash Knight, so that's 5 disruptions. We've got the Gaze of Timaeus into Dragoon, and we have literally everything else in hand. So yeah, good luck losing. This is actually ridiculous. Alrighty, for the deck profile, I am playing a lot of starters, as you can clearly see, and I think I should have made it a little clearer by putting these cards here, just so that you understand which cards work with which. So yeah, 3 Gadget Trio, 3 Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, 3 Shining Sarcophagus, and 3 Future Silence. So pretty much all these 12 cards, they kind of just all do the same thing. If you're playing with the Fiendsmith engine, then they're all Fiendsmith combo. Otherwise, they're not necessarily starters on their own, but they get you far enough, and they also bridge into Dark Magician engine. Even though Dark Magician, it's not the kind of deck that plays with only 1 card. That's the reason why, historically speaking, it wasn't able to play a lot of hand traps. But with this deck, since the Yugi cards are very good at playing like self-sufficiently, and also very good at working with each other, because there's actually not like, you know, massive redundancy issues. Like if you draw Gadget Trio and Dark Magician Girl, you do a lot, because Dark Magician Girl can only search Shining Sarcophagus, but Gadget Trio can search Future Silence to search either for Gandora G or Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. And then obviously with Dark Magician Girl, you can turn into Dark Magician of Destruction to search like Magician's Souls or Magician's Rod, Timaeus, and then you can start fusing, etc. You can just do like infinite things, or even the Gaze of Timaeus. So yeah, this deck is, like I said, very resourceful, very consistent, because these 12 cards, they will get you very far on their own, but obviously paired with other cards, they're even better. And yeah, 3 Illusion of Chaos, this card searches so many cards in the deck. It even searches Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. So sometimes you can have like only Shining Sarcophagus and Illusion of Chaos, and that is, yeah, that gets you really far. And yeah, obviously 2 Dark Magician, because you need at the very least 2 for like the basic combo where you have this and Shining Sarcophagus, obviously. 1 Timaeus, the United Dragon, and only 1 Gaze of Timaeus. If you want to, you can play 2 copies of this and actually play 0 Timaeus, but the card that you summon off of this, it gets banished until like on the end phase of the next turn. So I don't know, I don't really want to rely on this card too much. 1 Souls, 1 Rod, 1 Soul Servant, because these cards don't actually do much of anything on their own. Magician's Rod, I mean, it takes up your normal summon, and Gadget Trio is like much better. And even if you're playing a lot of Dark Magician cards in your deck, this card searches like nothing relevant. Like Magical Circle, this card, yeah, it completely sucks. It really does nothing on its own. It really relies on you also having Eternal Soul to be like actually oppressive, otherwise it just never interrupts your opponent. And it can whiff. Like imagine if you excavate hand traps off of that, like it just does nothing. So I really am not a big fan of the search targets that this card has overall. I think like the only really good ones are like Soul Servant and the Gaze of Timaeus. Pretty much it. Everything else is like disappointing. And even like within the Dark Magician cards, I feel like a lot of cards really just do the same thing. Like Secrets of Dark Magic, the Gaze of Timaeus, the United Dragon. All these 3 cards, basically almost the same effect. And even for like Eternal Soul, there's like the field spell that really just does nothing for you. It just sets like Eternal Soul from your deck to your field, and that's it. So I don't know. It's not good enough. So that's my problem with them. And that's the reason why I'm playing a completely different version of Dark Magician. But I mean, I still consider this Dark Magician for sure. Because obviously the extra deck, I mean, it's basically the same one as Dark Magician. I'm just not playing the Primite cards, and I'm not playing the bricks. Yeah, we're playing a better, more competitive, and cleaner version, which is still Dark Magician nonetheless. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main engine, and for the Handchaps, 3 Fua, 3 Pearlia, 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Zuna, and the Lupus, as well as Call by the Grave. So yeah, a very fat amount of non-engine cards, super consistent deck, and also good going second. Otherwise, there's really just no purpose of even trying to build decks like these. If you're like skeptical on whether this deck works or not, honestly, I just recommend like trying this deck list out and see for yourself. But in testing, this deck was actually good for me. So honestly, I recommend it. For the extra deck, we're playing one of the new Timaeus, the United Magi Dragon. It's a good card, and it's a good card to summon off of the Gaze of Timaeus, because actually this one will survive on the next end of turn, because it is like unaffected by other card effects until like the end of your next turn, which is really good because this banishes it on the end phase, not on the end of the turn, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, its protection will like keep on lingering for after like the lingering like drawback of the Gaze of Timaeus actually applies. It's a cool card, but the effect is not like super broken, unfortunately, but sometimes you kind of still want to go into it just in case like you're afraid that whatever monster you summon will just die off. But yeah, the Master of Chaos, because this can revive back Dragoon, so it's not like you really have to play 2 Dragoon, and this card also has like an effect that banishes every monster upon control, so it's a great way of breaking your opponent's board. And also being able to revive back any light or dark monster in your grave. That's obviously good, even when you're not reviving back Dragoon. Sometimes you can revive back like other stuff, so yeah, it's a really nice card overall. And also, if this Fusion Summon card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can recycle back any spell in your grave, so that's also really nice. Honestly, everything about this card is fantastic. I really do think that this card is a must in this deck. It's a great summon target for the Gaze of Timaeus. But yeah, 2 Dark Magician of Destruction obviously makes a lot of sense. And then 1 Dragoon. If you want to play 2, then you can do that. By the way, a lot of people said that you can like triple Dragoon super easy because you can loop Celine with Dark Magician of Destruction. I really don't understand how that's possible, granted the fact that this card is a hard once per turn to summon, and it's not a must first be either a Fusion Summon or Special Summon, blah 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 blah. No, it's a must be summoned. So yeah, you can't Monster Reborn this card. It's completely impossible. So yeah, there's no Celine shenanigans that you can do with this card, unfortunately. Anyways, for the Xyz monsters, 1 Galaxy Ice Photon Lord so that we respect Nibiru, 1 Ripper, of course. I mean, it negates monster effects, and it searches Izuna so that you can make some other rank 5 plays. And speaking of which, Valon is a quick effect Book of Moon, and also when it's sent to the graveyard, it destroys any face down card on the field. So it's also a send target for X-Raziel, but we're clearly not playing the Raziel engine in this deck. But yeah, Nash Knight as well as Silent Honor Arc, so that we have a way to, you know, steal a monster our opponent controls, well, kind of, in a way, kind of like Infinity, but it doesn't target, and it can even be defense position monsters, which is really stupid. And Silent Honor Arc is the number monster that I'm playing, because technically you theoretically could Xyz summon it by using Gadget Trio and like another trio or like a Chummy, but it's unrealistic. But still, at the very least, it might technically come up, whereas everything else is just like absolute copium. And also access code with Celine Dark so that you can kill your opponents. You know, a lot of link climbing, so 2 monsters could theoretically make access code so that you can destroy 2 cards. And also have a 5300 beat stick. And finally SP and IP Masquerena, which I think should make a lot of sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this Dark Magician combo video and deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know how you feel about it in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.